Hey, story fans, I'm the writing ref. I don't hate, I just officiate your favorite Star Wars. We're gonna spoil Ahsoka Episode 7, the Dreams and Madness, the penultimate episode. It's mostly just a setup episode. Ready? All that happened was Ahsoka got to the planet where everybody was in the other galaxy. She made it through a minefield, used the Force to find Sabine and Ezra, and got there just in time to help them against an assault by Thrawn's forces and Shin Hati, who kind of got a beat down and then ran off. Somewhere in between there, Balin dismissed his student and said, I gotta go my own way, and then he had a gentleman's duel with Ahsoka until Ahsoka distracted him long enough to go help everyone. And that's basically the episode. It attempted to use pacing to show some of Thrawn's strategic prowess, but you're still not getting a lot of it. So let's make some predictions for how this setup will lead us to a hopefully really good grand finale right now.
Somehow Palpatine returned.
Rebellion tell me to protect them. What if they get sick?
Now, before I get into my predictions for the finale, we need to call a few penalties. Penalty on Sabine and Ezra for a lack of sense of urgency.
Well, we could talk about something else, I guess.
Another story penalty on Sabine for continuing to keep secrets unnecessarily.
That's what people say.
And finally, penalty on Ezra for not using weapons when it makes sense to use weapons.
It's your lightsaber, take it.
You keep it.
At least take a blaster.
No. The Force is my ally.
5 minutes later.
Now, I have a lot of thoughts on all three of those penalties. So much, in fact, that the penalty for Sabine will get its own video, and the penalty for Ezra will get its own video as well. But these penalties have caused my predictions to have to go in a certain direction, as Thrawn would say,
which is why we must control all variables.
Eliminated some variables. So please leave a like on this video and subscribe to make sure that you see the next two videos coming out shortly before the finale of Ahsoka hits on Tuesday. Also, leave your own comments on what you think will happen in the finale below, so we can engage in some Star Wars nerd conversation. Now, I have a three-part theory about what's going to happen, and I'm going to focus on three different character groups in order to give you my predictions. First is Ahsoka and Balin. The second is Thrawn, along with Shin and the Empire. And the third is Sabine and Ezra. Let's take them one at a time, starting with Ahsoka. With all of these predictions, you have to talk about what is this show really about. For 7 episodes, it's been about letting go of your past, but not kill it if you have to.
Let the past die. Kill it if you have to.
It's about forgiving yourself of that past and moving on and becoming who you're meant to be in your brighter future. Letting go of your mistakes, but also learning from them. Something Sabine, so far, is still refusing to do. And I really hope there's going to be consequences of that, but that they won't seem like stupid consequences that could have been easily avoided. But as far as Ahsoka's concerned, she's dropped her guilt baggage. So all she has left to do is kind of save the day. And she's not going to be saving the day against Thrawn. She's going to be saving the day against Balin. Now, Balin wants the spiritual plane's power. I'm going to call it the spiritual plane because that's what it looks like to most people who've never even heard of the term world between worlds, which sounds like an Indiana Jones thing anyway. And it's accessed by special artifacts. They can be Jedi holocrons, Sith holocrons, or in this case, for this show, a Dathomiri witch, or more appropriately, a Zephyr holocrons. Now, we're not going to get into the ancient race of the Zephyr who precede the Dathomiri witches and all that. There's plenty of other channels covering that. But Ahsoka has already accessed the world between worlds, or the spiritual plane, in this series, even though she's done it several times. So, whenever Balin tries to access it, wherever his access point is, she's going to feel it, and she's going to go after Balin. And they'll probably be in the middle of an infiltration mission, trying to get to the hyperspace ring and have it go home before Thrawn can dock his Star Destroyer or something like that. her final confrontation is to prevent Balin's mission. Ahsoka's going to be successful in some way, maybe even with the help of a certain chosen one. Will that mean that she's stranded on the planet? The series could end with us thinking so. But I have a feeling that they might show us a teaser or a tag at the end of the credits or something that show us her accessing a portal, which will take her back to the normal galaxy, because they're not going to leave Ahsoka out of the movie. So that's my predictions for Ahsoka. But she'll save the day against Balin. And Shin rode off without going with the Empire. So she'll either be trying to catch up with her master, and that'll be the reason Ahsoka even knows about what's going on, or she'll just rejoin Thrawn's Imperial group. I don't know if she was just going to rejoin Thrawn. I don't know why she didn't go get on a ship. Next prediction. Sabine and Ezra should be straightforward and easy. They're going to take some stormtrooper uniforms from some of those stormtroopers they eliminated, and they'll sneak into the castle, and they'll try to steal a ship to get up to the hyperspace ring, and they'll try to commandeer the hyperspace ring and send it home. Ahsoka will be with them at first, and then she's going to leave, which is really going to upset Sabine, and I don't know if it's that point that Sabine will finally deal with her guilt or whatever, but it'll probably be somewhere around there. She'll be like, I don't know, I forgive myself in some way, and Ezra will have to forgive her too, because he's about to find out everything. Like, I thought he was about to find out everything last time, but he didn't. Them delaying is going to be the reason Thrawn escapes. I don't know if that will be clear in this finale, because they're still going to have some chance of stopping him, but not really. And whatever is in the catacombs, whatever is in those boxes, the witches are going to wake up a few of them, and that Sabine and Ezra are going to have to fight those, and then they'll have to fight Shin, and in the middle of all that fighting, Thrawn will just be like, go. I'm not going to risk them disabling this thing and keeping us here. So they'll go, and they'll all get back to the other galaxy. Then that's where the predictions for Thrawn get hard, because they used to make sense, where he would defeat those 3 ships that I thought were still going to be hanging out at that planet, but there's no reason for them to be there anymore. So the show might end with Thrawn just escaping and getting back to the normal galaxy. And then Sabine and Ezra will escape from the ring, and they'll have to do some kind of chase with TIE fighters, and they'll jump to hyperspace, and they'll make it back to the New Republic to warn the New Republic that Thrawn has indeed arrived. And they have all the information, and Hu Yang's got the recordings, so they know it's true, and blah, 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 blah. But we won't get to see Thrawn's tactical prowess. So let's talk about predictions for Thrawn, because they go beyond this final episode. What I wanted was for Thrawn to arrive in a beat-up Star Destroyer, separate from the hyperspace ring, engage the New Republic fleet, and then use the hyperspace ring in some way to destroy the New Republic fleet.
Ships, hold your position. Their cruisers will have to come to us.
Like, maybe he would perform some kind of holdo maneuver with it. Thrawn's real famous for using ingenious ways to fight the New Republic. In his initial attacks, he used mining ships to drill into ships that were being repaired at a big repair yard and try to steal the New Republic ships. But first, he sent small raids out with different Imperial forces, just enough to disable like 20 ships, and knew where they would all be sent for repairs. Then he attacked with his fleet, sent the mining ships out to capture these ships that he had disabled, and he was going to add those to his fleet. And it almost worked, but some pesky rebels got in the way and ended up destroying all the ships. But for Thrawn, it was still a win, because he had destroyed 20 or so New Republic ships. And then, of course, his plans continued from there. What he was real famous for was using gravity wells in the interdictor cruisers. These are ships that can make ships drop out of hyperspace. They haven't been seen in live action before, but they have been seen in animation. And they're really neat, because they can keep rebel forces and pesky smugglers from escaping through hyperspace. So Thrawn is real famous for using those, not to just prevent ships from escaping, but to pull his own ships out of hyperspace at strategic positions so that he could destroy New Republic fleets with pinpoint accuracy. And we're not going to get to see any of that yet. And probably, maybe it's best that we don't, because you kind of want a movie budget to show a fleet battle that big. But he could have taken care of 3 Rebel cruisers and shown some definite, like, dangerousness to him. And I don't think we're going to get that now. Thrawn's kind of out of the fight now. He's shown what he kind of does. Now it's just going to be the witches and Shin versus Ezra and Sabine, while Ahsoka and possibly Anakin take on Balin. That's going to be the 2 separate fights. They're going to jump back and forth. Maybe we'll get an introduction of Captain Pelayan meeting Thrawn. That would be neat. Maybe that's the stinger. Pelayan comes on the ship, and you saw him in the episode, one of the penultimate episode of The Mandalorian season 3. That'll be really cool. And maybe, yeah, Thrawn's kind of out of the fight, except to say, all right, enough of this. Let's just go. In my opinion. So it's going to be witches and Force. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be crazy. Everyone's going to like it. People are still going to have a lot of questions about why this, why that. And we'll cover that in the next videos. So I hope you subscribe. And let's all have fun Tuesday. We'll see you then. Writing Ref out.